You guys, this is Adam Gillespie with Rancid and Sweaty Calves coming at you with yet another video. And in this one, I'll be covering something that is absolutely horrendous. So if you have any children who like to watch these videos with you, I would highly suggest that you get them out of the room right now or tell them to cover their ears for the duration of the video. This is not something that little kids should be watching or listening to. You, the parents, and you, the informed adult, should know everything about what's going on in the world regarding this crap, but children should not have to deal with the reality of this disgusting sin that this man was just pled guilty to. A former ABC News producer pleads guilty to a child pornography charge, faces up to 40 years in prison. As I understand it, that is the maximum sentencing you can get for child pornography, which I think is too small. An update on the former ABC News producer James Gordon Meek pleaded guilty to transportation and possession of child sexual abuse material on Friday, according to a press release distributed by the United States Department of Justice while visiting South Carolina in February 2020. Meek used an online messaging platform on his iPhone to send and receive images and videos depicting minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct and to discuss his sexual interest in children. That's so freaking disgusting. Meek then transported the iPhone containing illegal material back to his home in Virginia. Meek is scheduled to a sentencing hearing on September 29th, where he will face a mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison and a maximum penalty of 40 years. Previously, Meek was arrested January 31st, 2023 on criminal charges related to his alleged transportation of images of child sexual abuse. According to the Department of Justice, law enforcement seized multiple devices that allegedly contained evidence of the transportation of images of child sexual abuse in a court-authorized search of Meek's residence located in Arlington. Several of Meek's devices allegedly held images depicting children engaged in sexually explicit conduct, as well as numerous sexually explicit chat conversations with other users who expressed enthusiasm for the sexual abuse of children. What a bunch of freaking monsters, according to the Department of Justice. In 2 of those conversations, a username allegedly associated with Meek received and distributed child sexual abuse materials through an internet-based messaging platform. Per court documents, the investigation into Meek 53 was initiated from an investigation lead sent by Dropbox and ultimately received by the FBI Washington Field Office's Child Exploitation and Human Trafficking Task Force. Meek, who had been working at ABC for 9 years, abruptly resigned from the network following the FBI raid at his Virginia home. His credits include Nightline and 2020, as well as the Hulu documentary 3212 Unredacted, about the deaths of 4 U.S. Special Forces soldiers in Africa and a government cover-up. Meek was nominated for 4 Emmy Awards, winning 1 in 2017 for ABC News breaking news coverage. Assistant Attorney General Kenneth A. Polite, Jr. of the Justice Department's Criminal Division, U.S. Attorney Jessica D. Aber, and the Eastern District of Virginia, and Special Agent in Charge Wayne A. Jacobs of the FBI Washington Field Office's Criminal and Cyber Division made the announcement of Meek's criminal charges. Prosecuting the case are trial attorney Whitney Kramer of the Criminal Division's Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section of the Assistant U.S. Attorney Zoe Bedall for the Eastern District of Virginia. That's all that Variety covers, but I bet you that no one that you click on Google is going to deliberately explain to you the type of sexually explicit child pornography that this man was in possession of. When they say child pornography and exploitation of children and minors, what they should be describing as children is actually toddlers. Toddlers, 3 and younger. This man was a monster who was attracted to little babies. This man was also a producer on ABC, a television network owned by Disney. Disney, a corporation that is continuously engaged in pushing sexual ideologies onto children at very, very young ages. It's almost as if everything is connecting in really, really disturbing, disgusting ways and should not be taken lightly by people out there who watch this and people who learn about this. This is a horrendous, evil, vile, despicable man who does not deserve to see the light of day ever again and should be thrown into solitary confinement. But he's only going to face a maximum of 40 years. A maximum. And that's if they give him the maximum. That means that within 40 years, this man could be back out on the streets preying on little children again, doing the exact same freaking thing he got put in prison for. I'm not even going to call the guy a man anymore. I'm going to call him a dog. I'm going to call him an animal. This animal, this monster, this dog, this creature, preying upon little children. And there's no counting, there's no telling what kind of other disturbing evil things this guy has done. And the fact that he was a major ABC news producer is frightening. This man was in the top rungs of an organization that was specifically owned by Disney and has connections to probably countless other individuals out there in the media landscape and has probably had communications with people out there in the media landscape about this stuff. About the disgusting nature of all this crap. And we see more and more of this stuff being pushed on children in children's media. Every single time you flip over to something that's supposed to be centered on the attention of kids, it's got something to do with the disgusting, vile sexual ideologies that are going around the world at the moment, that are explicitly coming from the West and America and woke ideologies that these liberals and leftists are pushing onto little children. This is the end result of the hippie ideology of let live, man. Let everybody do what they want, man. We're all free souls, bro. No. There are rules and guidelines by which humans and people just in general, I don't care if you want to call yourself a fairy or whatever other crap you want to call yourself, you should at least be able to look at this and condemn it 100%. If you can't do that, then you're a monster too. You have to be able to condemn the most vile, evil actions of mankind, or else you're just as much of a monster as the person committing them. If you're in defense of that person being able to do it, you are just as much a monster. And the worst part about this is that there are actually people out there writing articles in defense of this guy. That is disgusting. There are quotes that I could read to you that it would melt your brain listening to it. The fact that I know this stuff is too much. It's too much. The worst part about this is that this is going to get headlines, right? This is going to get headlines when this is going on all over the world all the time. And even worse than knowing that it's going on all over the world all the time is knowing that the main propagators of this disgusting action is done by the child's own parents. Their own parents, their guardians, their adult protectors. The people that are supposed to keep them from this stuff are the ones involving the child in it from the start. It's disgusting. Child trafficking and sex trafficking of all kinds is disgusting. But to know that people will go to the depths of their depraved souls and defend people like this, it's too much. It's too much. This is evil. It's Flat out evil. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. This is evil. And it's going on right in front of you. Right in front of you. It's time to pull the scales off our eyes and understand the disgusting, vile nature of the world and stop making excuses for when things go bad as, oh, we just don't know why that happens. No, we all come into the world with evil at our core. It takes good people who know the difference between right and wrong teaching us how to be good to be good. It's time for us to stop thinking that everyone is good all the time. No, people are not good. People are evil. As a general rule, people are evil. But they've been taught what is good, and so we can do good things. The only way you get atrocities like Hitler, Mao, Stalin, this guy, and every other person who has committed insanely vile acts of criminal aggression in the world, the only way you get that is if we are inherently evil. You don't get taught to become more despicable. It's some sort of baseline starting point that you have to course correct as you go through your life to stop from becoming that. If left to our own devices, we would become just as disgusting as these people. Just as disgusting as their actions. We would do far worse things. Thank God that we have not been raised to hate everything. That we have been raised to do good. At least, even if it's a secular version of good, it's still somewhat moral. Thank God for that. Because if we didn't have that, humanity wouldn't exist today. We would just blow all each other to smithereens. We're born evil. And this is an example of it. You don't get this way by trying it out and seeing if you like it. No. You like it from the start. And it escalates from there. I hope this guy gets more than 40 years in prison. I know that's the maximum amount of time you can have, but if you have multiple counts, you should have way more than that. This guy does not deserve to see the light of day ever again. I'm not even going to ask you guys, I'm not going to go through my normal outro. I hope you guys take this into your mind. I hope you take this into account. I hope you guys, if you have children, watch your children closely and keep them from harm's way. Alright? That's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week.